Hello, thank you for popping in and visiting with a visit with Nana and Papa. I am Val, also known as Nana, and coming to you from Killeen, Texas, where it's really overcast and gloomy, but I'm hoping the lighting is sufficient. And we'll be joined by Papa in a little bit after we go over some knitting stuff. So to start with, here's my finished garment. It is based on the Trove. I don't remember the designer's name, but I'll put the link to the pattern on Ravelry down below, and if I can find it outside of Ravelry, I'll try to do that too. It is a mosaic knit garment. I did not add the neckband because when I went to pick up for the neckband, it just looked really bad, and I don't think that the neckband as is looks that bad, so I'm just leaving it as is, as it was knit. I did add short sleeves. I did not continue with the mosaic on the sleeves. I just did solid color. And at the bottom, let's see if I can, I did a folded hem. And I did the folded hem because I find that a folded hem on my tees tends to, it holds the garment in place better. This is my first drop shoulder, and it's not even that far of a drop shoulder technically, but I think it's going to be my last. It doesn't sit on me necessarily as pleasantly as the other sweaters. I find that the excess bulk under my arms is obnoxious and just not pleasant. I really love the oversized fit down below. So I don't know if I want to do a peplum or if I just need to do an A-line. I can't answer. But I do know that I won't be doing another drop shoulder. That said, this is knit top down, I think. Yeah, it was knit top down. So you start in the back and whatever. It's in the pattern, but it is top down. If I were to make this again, I would do a set-in sleeve instead of a drop shoulder, and I would knit the whole thing flat and then seam it on the, on the sleeves and down the sides, so that I could have more control over my sleeve, and most importantly, so it wouldn't, so my shoulders would be where I want them to be, and it's not just slip sliding away. And then the biggest reason that I just don't want all of this bulk, and I think if it were knit flat, the seams would add structure, I think. So do I love this sweater? No. Do I hate this sweater? No. The main color is, oh, I don't even know the name of the brand. I want to say Oenling. It's a Scandinavian yarn. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think Holst is much softer, much more comfortable, and cheaper. So I would 100% use Holst. Now, all the other colors in here are Holst Super Soft. It's just the main color, the brown, is the Oenling. I think what I probably will do is, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Yeah. And by the neckband, it wasn't that it, Like, I feel like it needs the neckband because now it's like flopping all over the place and showing. I don't know. I'm not in love with that, how it's laying. But when I picked up around the neckband and started working on it, I tried crochet and I tried knit. It made all this fabric just really pucker hard. And like, it didn't squeeze it this way. It wasn't like I was picking up the wrong number of stitches. It just was causing this fabric to stick up. So I had this big line of, and because this yarn is not like drapey, I guess, if you create fabric that wants to stay in place, this yarn makes the fabric want to stay in place, and I didn't want that sticking up. So anyway, so that's it. I don't have any other finished objects. I just have a lot of in progress projects, and there's a lot. So I hope you have a drink or something as we get into it. And Miss Enid, you're welcome to go take a break, and then you can come back for the next project. So this next project was a finished project. It was a finished object, but when I would try to wear it, the neckband had stretched out so much that it was falling off my shoulders, and that's not a look I like. And so I put needles back in, and I cut the neckband and the extra, and I went all the way down because this section of color work is supposed to look like that, but I gotta find it now. It's real obvious if I can find it. You know what? I know it's this one. Hold on. Oh, I see it. So you can't see it because it's the bottom section that's wrong, but if you notice here, see how they kind of make arrows, and then as I went across the row, I lost my arrows. So instead of, see how this one is offset so you can kind of see an arrow going, and then somewhere along the way the arrow went, like I lost the arrow and now it's jagged. So I cannot tell you how I did it. I found it. It's right here. See, instead of doing 3 stitches, I did like 6 stitches. And I just completely wackadoodled it. But anyway, so we cut out the wackadoodle along with the neckband. And we now have it, and I did this morning. I now have it on needles ready to start knitting again. Well, not quite exactly ready because my needles are here, but I gotta find it. It's not real close by. Here is my, so here's my needles and here's my beginning of round. So I'm gonna have to slip stitch over, and then the needles that are on the project that I picked up are, I think, a 0, US 0, and I need to knit it on a US 4. So these are just there to pick up the stitches, not to actually knit with. But anyway, it's back on the needles so that I can turn it back into a functional garment, because it was currently a non-functional garment. So there's that is on the needles again. Not sure I talked about this one the last time. I think I did. I got some yarn from Knit Picks because of my sister-in-law. Her ranunculus was lost in the mail, and I started a sweater pattern, and amazing human who watches this podcast. Oh no, it wouldn't have been started yet because an amazing person who watches this podcast sent me the pattern. So I cast it on. It's really hard to tell what's going on right now because this is the top of the neck. This is, anyway, there's a long way to go is all I'm saying. I think I may have increased the first section more than I needed to before starting the second section, but if so, when I pick up the neck for her, I will fix it. But so far it's not bad. It's it does take some focus. It is not a mindless knit, but hopefully it will yeah, hopefully it'll turn out really nice. This yarn is from Knit Picks. It is Knit Picks Swish. I think it's right here. I reach. Okay. Nope, Knit Picks Stroll. And the colorway is deep purple. That's not real accurate. That's much more accurate. This is really, really blown out. It's more of that. Anyway, it's beautiful regardless. And my sister-in-law loves the color. So, I knit on this like crazy. And then kind of got in a I don't want to knit on it mood, partly because it was starting to hurt my hands, and it was the only thing I worked on for a while. And I know me, monogamous knitting is not good for my hands, so there's that. This is a project where I am using Upland Fiber Co. yarn, and the yarn is the core fingering. I don't know why I can't have that shade, sorry y'all, but core fingering, and the color is Medallion. And I love this yarn so much. Not just this color, but the yarn, all the colors. I have some of the every single color. But I still need to wind up the extra yarn, but the sweater doesn't have a pattern, and I just tossed the ball on the yarn. But I'm doing a contiguous raglan. So it's increased every row until you get to out to the shoulders, and then every other row as I go on the sleeve side. I don't even remember. Anyway, and that, but I'm winging it because I don't even know if I'm doing it right. I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't have the pattern, or if I have a pattern with this construction, I'm not aware of it. And so I kind of put it on hold because I don't trust myself and I don't trust the math. So I haven't worked on it in probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, because I don't want to get all the way down to split for sleeves and go to split for sleeves and it doesn't fit and it looks wonky. And so anyway, I need to try and find the right pattern and compare the pattern with what I've done so far, because I mean, I know the math is right, but just because something mathematically says this will fit does not mean that it will look nice. You know, I mean, like, okay, so based on those numbers, that will fit around your body, and based on those numbers, that will fit around your arms. And if you knit to this many inches down, your armhole will be comfortable and not too deep and not too short. But doesn't mean that it'll look nice in the process. It could look janky and wonky. And there's nothing wrong with something that looks janky and wonky, and I'm not above wearing something that's janky and wonky. But it's a solid yellow sweater, or semi-solid, but pretty much it's a solid color, and every single stitch that's off is going to be visible, and it doesn't have anything to hide any mistakes. And so I'm not, I don't know. I don't want to make it look bad. I want it to look nice, and I want to be able to wear it in a professional work environment. So, anyway, there's that. I did finish the sleeves on this sweater, and this is not using a pattern technically, but it is. I used the turtleneck tube by Stephanie Jappel to get all the numbers, but where she binds off right here to have a no sleeve, I kept it there and added the increases for the sleeve at the same time I did increases for the body. This fits me perfectly. Last time I showed it, I think I was like right here. I have quite a bit added to the body. I am currently helical knitting with what's left of the yarn, and will continue to do so until this is gone. And I probably will do it until one of them is completely gone, because I have one more ball that's not a full, I think it's 20 to 25 grams, and I want to use that for the ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. And so I'm just going to keep going until these are used up. And I would say that this and the purple sweater and these sleeves probably had the most knit on them in the last week. I've worked a little on other stuff too, but they've had the most done to them. I didn't tell you what the patterns are. So that one is the turtleneck tube. The other one doesn't have a pattern. This is, oh man, I'll put this one on the screen. Maybe I'll try and put all of them on the screen when I'll go ahead and edit and put the photos and the patterns on the screen, because I know the pattern for the green one is from Along Avec Anna, and I have talked about it because I have the red one that I also made, but I made it in a DK weight. The pattern is not in DK weight, but, and then this purple one, that the pattern that was sent to me is called Multi-Talent, and I think it's bloody brilliant because you don't have to gauge swatch. You're just literally knitting to specific measurements, and not measurements measured by some random person that isn't you, but literally you measure certain things on your own body, and then this tells you what to do. If you don't like to use a calculator and don't know how to use a calculator, this is not, or you don't want to do basic math, if both of those are no-nos for you, this is not the pattern for you. But if you're okay doing basic math and okay using a calculator, this is perfect. Oh, and a ruler. A calculator and a ruler. Then the multi-talent is brilliant. Alright, I have... This is a pattern by Hinterm Stein. I was supposed to test it and failed, and I'm still working on it. It is in sport weight. It is also drop shoulder. I think maybe the other part of me not being that excited about finishing it is that it's drop shoulder, and I'm realizing that I don't like the feel of a drop shoulder on my body. But I have added rows on this and continue. When I just need something mindless, I pick it up. Now, this morning, because I was going to work and I wanted to have something a little more mindless for work, I decided to cast on a sock. Now, I am not using any particular sock pattern because I am just knitting a DK weight. You know, they call it a vanilla sock pattern, but I'm not. I'm just knitting. I did Judy's Magic Cast On for the toe. I increased every other row until I got to the number of stitches that I wanted for my husband's foot. And I then changed color because instead of making this particular pair from any specific yarn, I am using up my DK leftovers. I don't use DK weight yarn very often, so I don't have a whole lot of DK weight leftovers, but I did, well, I haven't finished it, but I did make a DK cardigan that was crocheted, and I have leftovers from the granny squares, and so I am using this for the heels and the toes. Thank you. And hold on, I'm gonna try and show you. And these leftovers for the sock. I will be 100% transparent. I have no idea where any of these yarns came from, except I believe this came from Lola Bean. I'm not 100%, but I believe this is Lola Bean Yarn Co. And I am 100% certain that this came from Her Dazzling Creations, who is a dyer out of Houston area of Texas and is an absolutely delightful human. So I know this is hers. I got this from her at DFW Fiber Fest last year. I think it was last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. A lot has happened since last year. Yeah, it would have been September of last year. Whew. It's been a busy year, I must say. I am knitting it on my Chalgu double pointed needles, and anyway, I love them. Since we spoke last, I did receive this yarn Pearl Soho Goodwill wool in the color Purple Pansy, and Pearl Soho quartz, and this one is in Fresh Pickle. That's accurate. Let's see, that's pretty accurate. And while they look amazing together, they will not be knit together. This one is a very rustic wool. Not super itchy scratchy, but it's a Highland wool. And this is 65% merino wool and 35% Surrey alpaca. And it has drape for days. So I'm hoping, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I'm hoping that this would be okay. I mean, a good yarn for a tunic. Like, yeah, just a tunic. That's what I'm hoping. I have 3 of them, and I think that I should be able to knit a tunic out of that. And that would be super cute. And I have pants that would be super cute with the tunic, and so we'll see. That's it for the Yarny Adventures. We'll come back to you in a little bit and talk to you about reading and watching and any updates that Papa has. Hello, this is Valerie with A Visit with Nana and Papa, and I am at work on my lunch break, and I wanted to talk about the new sweater. I did my short rows in the ribbing, which you can tell when you look at it, but I'm hoping it will work out. So I've not done that before, but I think it looks nice and it worked out well, so we'll see. I am not using a pattern at all because the construction I want to use requires math being adjusted so that your row gauge is specific and your stitch gauge is specific. What I did was cast on what I knew would be a comfortable neck for me, because it's been a neckline I've used in the past, using these needles and a fingering weight yarn. So that's that. So I cast on, I don't know, I think I knew I did. I cast on 120 stitches, and I divided it by putting 24 then once I cast it on, I joined in the round. Then I went to 24 stitches, put a marker, went 12 stitches, put another marker. Then I did 48 stitches, put another marker, did 12 stitches, put another marker, and did the last 24. And then worked in the round doing ribbing, and then added short rows in the ribbing, and then switched my needle size to a bigger needle, and then started working in the round. But instead of doing raglan increases on the sleeve and the body, I'm only doing body increases until I get from my neckline out to my shoulder. So from here out. And I measured my gauge, because I did it already. I went all the way out and realized that I did not have enough stitches when I got out here. No, I had way too many stitches. I was not to the shoulder yet, and I already have way too many stitches for the gauge that I was on. So what I did instead was ripped it back after I did my math, did my gauge for my row gauge, and I did my stitch gauge, and then I redid the math, and so now I am doing a different increase rate for the body, and I'm working on that. And then as soon as I get to the right number of rows, then I will start increasing on the sleeves and not increasing on the body, because I need I'll need to come down, you know, down the side of the sleeve. So right now I'm coming across, and then I want to come down, and then I'll start increasing the body again. And then, so we'll see. It's just an experiment. I have now ripped out 2 sweaters so far in the last 24 hours. I've ripped out 2 sweaters. So what the heck, we just try again, right? It's just knitting. The yarn I'm using, I talked about it in my last podcast, but the yarn for this sweater is in the Upland Fiber Core Fingering. I love the yarn. I will say I wish I had started with the other end, because the way in which I'm knitting seems to be untwisting the yarn, like removing the twist out of the yarn, which then can make it a little splitty. But it's not the yarn's fault. It's that the way in which I wound it, the end that I chose to use to wind it onto the cake, and then which end on the cake I chose to pull from, it's undoing the twist as I'm going. Part is how it's pulling out of the cake, and part is how I'm knitting it. Just the method in which I knit, because I do knit continental, and so that part is kind of a bummer. But it is not the yarn's fault when that happens. That's absolutely operator error. So hopefully we'll check in maybe tomorrow. I'll give you an update. I don't think it'll be enough, but I'll keep checking in to let you know. I'll definitely check in when I get to the edge of the shoulders and I'm doing straight down, or at least before I start, or when I start adding more increases, to let you see what it looks like. I may even, you know, put it on cord and try it on at some point definitely before we start the sleeves. The separating for sleeves, it'll get tried on, but I would like to try it on even before I stop increasing the body, to make sure we are at the right stage. So I will try and film that for you so you can see it. Anyway, I gotta get back into work now. My lunch hour is almost over. Have a wonderful rest of your day when you finally see this. Bye. I love you. I love you too. We just wanted to pop in at the end of this and let you know, A, we split the videos, so if you want to hear his books and my books, they're in a separate video. And B, we wanted to say a big, huge thank you to Two Sisters Talking Shit. No, Knitting. Two Sisters Knitting Talking Shit. Love their podcast. But they talked about us, and that brought us a bunch of new folks. So
if you are new viewers from them, thank you so much for coming and checking us out. I hope you enjoyed it. This was not our typical, but yeah, what's typical about me? Not much.
Anyway, so thank you all very much, and I hope everyone has a great week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and we'll see you next time.
Hasta.